Welcome to another Dinner and Drinks. It's Wingnut. We're very excited about this. Closing out Hispanic Heritage Month, we're making my favorite tacos, everybody's new favorite tacos. I use the hashtag bury me in birria. So that's what we're making is birria tacos tonight. We're gonna literally do it from scratch. We're gonna start by making our own sauce. We're gonna braise the beef. It's gonna take in real time 5 hours, but for you, we're already cooking. First thing we're gonna do is sear our roast here. It's a chuck roast on all sides. Ready? Sexy sizzle. I did forget to season it. So we'll just season it on one side. Yep. There we go. All right, so you had to miss some of that. It got a little smoky in here. But I'm about to take this thing off. And I'm going to reduce the heat. I'm going to let that rest right there. So, we'll cut up our vegetables. I'll show you. I got one whole onion, a couple of cloves of garlic, and then we're gonna throw in some cilantro, and our water will get this boiling, get a nice little, what do you call that, stock going. We gotta throw in some bouillon cubes, we'll be good to go, which is just water, 4 cups. Add in the onions. And the carrots. Oh, plus cilantro. And we're gonna add in 2 whole ancho chilies. And these New Mexican chilies that are de-seeded. Whatever you wanna push around. I don't have whole bay leaves, but I've got ground bay leaves. Paprika. Chili powder, if it wants to come out. Garlic powder. Mexican oregano. And cumin. Give it a mix around. I'm going to throw in maybe 1 or 2 chicken bouillon cubes. All right, we're gonna let that hang out. I may have done it a little backwards with the onion, so for that I may apologize, but I wanted the chilies to get soft, and they're getting there. My next step is to put it in the NutriBullet and blend everything up until a smooth sauce forms, and then we can get our ground chuck in there and our short ribs and start to slow cook this. So the NutriBullet isn't big enough for all this. I'm gonna do this in batches, which is why I have this out. Smells good. Just don't burn your fingies. All right, we'll leave that there. Lid on. Action. Gonna get loud and hot. Woo. The return of Christmas Mitten. I don't want that stem in here. Okay. Scalding hot. All right, so there's our sauce. So now, I'm gonna grab the oven first. Let's get these particulates that still lay around out. Actually, I'm gonna leave them in. Let's get our meat in. The ground chuck, sorry. And then well, they were 2, but I asked them to cut it. 4 spare ribs. See if we can get that. There you go. I'm gonna add maybe a cup of water now. Some store-bought chicken stock. And then I'm gonna save maybe a cup of our sauce for later. I actually might save more. I'm gonna save 2 whole cups. There we go. And now, set this to the side, let it cool, because it is still scorching. Let's clean up my workstation. I'm just going to ladle on the rest of it. Everywhere. Make sure that everybody's covered. And now comes the real long process of waiting. I've turned it down to a 2 and then let it sit. I'm gonna set a timer for 60 minutes. All right, so it's been 1 full hour. Let's take a look at our ground chuck and our spare ribs as Jack makes some noise. Move everybody around a little bit. And we'll set the timer again for another hour. We will see you then. All right, 2 hours in, let's take a look at how our meat looks. I can hear it bubbling. Can you hear it? Let's let some of that drip off. Let's give everybody a little turn here and see how the progress is coming. It looks like that still has a little bit to go. The short rib has definitely shrunk. We've lost a bone already. I think it was this one. That's what you want. You want the bones to eventually fall off. Like this one's ready to go almost. Ooh, look at this one. This one really wants to go. So let them hang out. Another 60 minutes, and this thing should be ready to start shredding. and we can take our meat out and then begin to taco. Popping in real quick, let's take a look. It should be ready to be shredded. What I'm gonna do is eventually move it from this pot to that pot. But let's take a look. The bones of our short ribs should 1,000,000,000% be out. This is the one that oh, that one is. That one is not. Oh, well. It is. All right, so I'm just gonna put that in there, let it cool down. I'm gonna do the same with this one. Our biggest concern is this chuck roast in here. So we'll let that keep doing its thing. We're gonna take some forks to that. And this should easily come apart. Ooh, if it didn't spin. Yep. Going off. Same story there, bone off. So we'll take these bones. They'll fall to the ground. We should be able to shred that fairly easily. Tons of flavor in this. There's a little bit of roughage in this one. Looks like there's another piece of bone in this one. It's too hot. So our short rib is ready to roll, and it will only get a little bit more shreddable. Definitely wants to almost shred. There we go. Maybe that's what I needed to do. Break it apart into tinier pieces. That way it can sit in there. Take a little bit of this extra liquid. Now, I've been dealing with a little bit of back problems tonight, so I'm not in the right mind. But I'm gonna let some of this kind of just soak in. And hopefully we can get there. So I'm gonna put the front burner on low with plenty of that delicious juice. All right, I didn't want to move on until I transferred and showed you I was transferring, so the big chunks of the chuck roast are now going to come with me over to our other pot. It is starting to fall apart. Oh, that's the bone. So this is what's going to be what we use to fry up our tortillas in, and this is how we shred our meat. I'm going to get to getting busy with trying to shred this meat. If we got to let it cook a little bit more, we'll let it cook more, but it's definitely getting there. We're 3 hours in. All right, so we are more than halfway through now. The meat has finally shredded for our birria tacos. As you can see, it's exactly where we want it to be. Everything's shredding apart. It's like the final couple minutes. So I'm gonna let this go for about another 25. Put the lid on it. A lot of the liquid should be reduced, and then we'll get to making our tacos. It's just a laborious process. If you want to make birria tacos, you got to make a day out of it. Like, see that one right there? It's all got to be shredded. And the other thing is once you shred it, then you've got other pieces of meat that got to get in there with the flavor. But it will all get there, and we'll be eating tacos in no time. Here we go, taco time number 1. Now, if I remember correctly, always the first one, just like the pancake theory, always gonna mess up. I'm gonna put it in our sauce, kind of drench it, and it's gonna go onto this skillet where the butter is. We're gonna follow in with some cheese. That's our oven to keep things warm. We got some queso and some habanero cheddar. Up next, gonna grab some of our birria meat. And because I forgot, some of our birria sauce. Don't let this little guy fall apart. Gonna top it with just a dash more cheese. And now here comes the ever fun flip. Let's see. If we can do this. It's already starting to break. Heat's got to come up. Which means I got to move this. Again, the first one's always going to be the worst one. Looks like a fairly even taco to me. I'm gonna smush it down a little bit. And we're using corn tortillas again, yellow corn. We want it to be crunchy. Grabbing a knife to help me, because that should be... It is not enough. Got a little bit of breakage. I also don't think I had the pan hot enough yet, which is why we might have a problem. But we'll learn and get better. All right, coming in with try number 2. I like that good sizzle. See how it's starting to puff? I like it. We're gonna lift and flip and squish. So far, so good. So I think that's what we're gonna do. From here on out, we're not gonna put any butter down. We're just gonna let the liquid of the sauce come down on our birria. I forgot really how to make this. But as long as we squish, it should be a fairly even taco. I have to work on my placement to make it even. See how we're uneven here on our sides? But it's getting flat like we want. I'm not a fan still of losing our bottoms here. Let it hang for a couple of seconds. All right, let's go ahead and investigate. It's definitely coming out the sides. This is a little lazy. We'll take that off. Let's make number 3. Into our sauce. Now this tortilla may not be the perfect one because it is already misshapen, but we'll find out. Don't know if you try, or if you don't try. I can already feel also this is the side it wants to curl on. We won't do as much cheese. Let's get our meat on there, and then we're gonna flip ASAP. Make sure we got good coverage. All right, let's go ahead and try and see if we can flip. So also why I'm using a knife here to help kind of coax it. This might be the winning combination. Everybody, I think we got it. It took us 3 tries. Let's just make sure we're not stuck. We're definitely not stuck. Now I'm gonna start cranking these things out. Yep, I think we're there. And that'll do it, we'll be ready to go. I'll have a whole plate full of birria tacos in no time. All right, so here's what they look like. I will go ahead and tell you, I moved them around a little bit. I think putting cheese on top of them softened them up. As you can see, they're not as crunchy as birria tacos usually should be, but we're gonna dunk it. And we're gonna try it. I'll have you know, the ones I'm eating are the first 3 that I made. But they're still so good. I mean, they're hot, and they're falling apart, which is a problem. But it's not a problem when you eat it. I should not have put the cheese on them, because it made them soggy. Oh, but this sauce is so good. It's got just the right amount of heat with those California peppers. Uh-oh, a little bit, I'll get it. I'm making such a mess. I'm gonna eat the last one for you guys. That may have not been very attractive, nor did it sound attractive. But bury me in birria. I hope you had a great Hispanic Heritage Month, and I hope you made, or had, or celebrated some great Hispanic heritage. Thanks for watching.